Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, July 29th evening meeting of the City Council. If we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and followed by a moment of silent meditation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. In accordance with LB 898, a copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted at the back of the chamber. The order of business of the City Council is as follows. The clerk will call the first items listed on the agenda under public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on that item or any item should come forward after the clerk reads that item. The applicant and those in favor should speak first, then those opposed. The applicant may then make one short rebuttal. Each speaker should begin by stating name, address, and whether you are speaking in favor of or in opposition to the item. Testimony is limited to 5 minutes per speaker. After all public hearings, the council will vote on resolutions and items listed under third reading. On the second and last meetings of the month, immediately prior to adjournment, anyone may speak on an issue not on the agenda for that date, nor planned for a future agenda. And I believe we have an open mic night tonight. Okay, Teresa, can you please first call the first item of business?
Yes, we do ask those of the general public coming forward to testify to please clearly state your name, spell your name, give your address, and sign in on the sign-in sheet lying on the podium. Testifiers may use either microphone, and there is a sign-in sheet by each microphone. We ask those individuals from city staff who are testifying to please state your name, title, and the department you work for. Our first item of business is our public hearing consent agenda, which are items 1 through 3.
Is there anyone that would like to testify on any of these items? Please come forward. Do we have Vern Schulte in the chamber? It's a reappointment. Okay.
All right, if not, we can vote on these items. Items 1A through C were introduced by Bowers.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Bowers, seconded by Christensen. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Christensen?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Raybold?
Yes.
Schob?
Yes.
Ward?
Yes.
Washington?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0. Then items 1D and 2A were introduced by Christensen.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Christensen, seconded by Ward. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Christensen?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Raybold?
Yes.
Schob?
Yes.
Ward?
Yes.
Washington?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0. Next then are public hearing liquor resolutions. Those giving testimony are asked to come forward and raise their right hand for the clerk to administer the oath. After the oath, witnesses shall state their names and addresses. I'll call items 4A and B together. They're the application of the night before for a Class C liquor license at 1035 M Street and the related manager application of Steve Stevenson. Would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth as you verily believe it to be?
Yes.
Thank you. Just state your name and address.
Steve Stevenson, 5700 West Orleans Court, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68524.
Welcome. Tell us a little bit about this application.
This is an existing business that's been here since like 1982, I believe. And we just purchased it from the current owner. And so we need a liquor license, and I'll be the one managing it.
Terrific. And have you taken the licensing class already?
Yes, it's been completed already.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
The third owner, who does not yet have a liquor license, Callie?
Uh-huh.
And in what city does Callie reside?
She was in Las Vegas, Nevada.
And will she reside in Lincoln?
No,
No, she'll stay in Las Vegas.
correct. She'll have nothing to do with the operations of the business.
Okay.
Any other questions? Is there anyone in the chamber that would like to testify on this item? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Stevenson.
Thanks.
All right, next is items 4C and D, application of Boiler Brewing Company for a Class C liquor license at 5800 Hyde Coat Drive, Suite 101, and the related manager application of Thad Ertz. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth as you verily believe it to be?
I do.
Thank you.
Thad Arts, 4611 Eagle Ridge Road, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68516.
Well, welcome. Tell us a little bit about the license.
We would like to open a satellite tap room at 5800 Hidcote Drive, Suite 101, 56th and Pine Lake Village Gardens area. 30 beers on tap that we'll self-distribute ourselves, a little over 1,800 square feet, outdoor seating too.
That sounds wonderful.
I agree.
Are there any questions? No questions? Is there anyone else in the chamber that would like to testify on this item? Seeing none, well, thank you again for coming down. Now we may vote on the liquor license applications, or manager applications.
I move approval of items 4C and D.
Second.
Items 4C and D moved by Christensen, seconded by McGinnis. Please call the roll, or any discussions? Any discussion? Okay, please call the roll.
Christensen,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Then may I have a motion for 4A and B approval?
I will move approval for A and B.
I'll second.
We have approval by Washington and seconded by Bowers. Any discussion? Yes, Roy.
I think this is an example of something being perfectly legal but completely morally reprehensible. I'll vote for it because it's legal and I believe in equality before the law, but for a business to make its way in this world by victimizing people, not a good thing.
Is there any other discussion on this item? Please call the roll.
Christensen,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Next then are public hearing resolutions. Item 5A is accepting a report of new and pending claims against the city for the period of July 1st through the 15th, 2019. Is there anyone here regarding a claim against the city? Okay, if not, we'll go on to items 5B and C. They are the appeal of by Ann Post on behalf of Vic and Kathleen Haanen of Planning Commission's denial of special permit 19025 to develop a community unit plan to include one residential lot with waivers of drainage study, grading plan, sidewalks, and post-construction stormwater management plan, and appeal of denial of request for deviation for a Hannon Place condominium unit number 2 located at approximately 66th and Pine Lake Road. I will note for the record, we did receive a request from Ms. Post requesting that we continue public hearing and action to August 12th, but if there's anyone here in the audience that wishes to speak on this item tonight, they may come forward and do so.
Is there anyone that would like to address this item? Ann, would you like to come and talk about requesting the delay?
Sure. Hello, my name is Ann Post. I'm here on behalf of Vic and Kathleen Haanen, the owners of the properties at issue near 66th and Pine Lake. As you know, this application has been before the Planning Commission that recommended denial. One concern that we have heard voiced from the Planning Commission and from other individuals is that they would like to see more communication with the church. That is the property directly adjacent to the east of this property. We have been in communication with the church. At the same time, we've heard your concerns that we'd like to see more recent communication. So we are asking for 2 weeks delay while we work on contacting the church so that either we are able to contact and make progress with the church, or we are able to show our current efforts to work with the church, or show you a flat-out denial of any efforts to work with. So we can come back to you with that additional information for your consideration on this application. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yes, Roy?
I will move a delay 2 weeks till the 12th of August, both these items.
Certainly, I was going to also ask if there's anyone else that's here to testify. Is there anyone else here that wanted to testify on that item? And is there a second to Roy's motion to delay to August?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by Christensen, seconded by Schob. Is there any other discussion? Okay, please call the roll.
Christensen,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0.
And I guess we need to vote on 5A,
Yes,
okay?
and it was introduced by Bowers.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bowers, seconded by Christensen. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Christensen,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0. That concludes our public hearing. We'll move into the voting session with ordinance's third reading. Item 6A is text amendment 19003, application of architecture, et cetera, to amend the Lincoln Municipal Code, Chapter 27.2 in various areas. This was introduced by Ward.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ward, seconded by Christensen. Any discussion?
No.
Seeing, oh, yes, Roy.
Seems to be a reasonable proposal, and there's been no negative response from the business community, so I think I can support this.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, please call the roll.
Christensen,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0. Next then is item 6B, change of zone 19017, application of Hussein Kaibla for a change from R6 residential to B3 commercial at 534 North 27th Street, introduced by Ward.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ward, seconded by Christensen. Any discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
So this was residential and it's going to be 3 now. This is just a zone change. This is not really a developmental plan. We're not looking at any building plans or anything like that just yet. are we?
Correct.
Correct.
Thank you.
This is changing the zone from residential to commercial so he can open up a bakery.
What question?
Yes.
Was there any redevelopment plan involved on the sale?
No.
Or was there any conditions on the sale? The zoning, was that a condition?
Did we ask
Dave-
Mr. Ferry to come up and answer some more questions?
I believe there were.
Okay.
Good afternoon, David Carey, Director of the Planning Department. What you're acting on now is just the change of zone. What has happened previously is that there was a previous fairly rundown
Higher place?
apartment building there that was then cleared from the site and set this up for the opportunity with a change of zone to do a redevelopment, which the redevelopment itself is in compliance with the North 27th Street redevelopment plan.
Does the current owner own the site?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And so did he buy that from the city?
Yes.
I believe so.
Okay. And was there any type of an agreement with him at that time that it would be changed, the zone would be changed?
I would have to go back and double check to see if there was an agreement about the actual zoning change. What I do know is that the zoning obviously has to change for him to do the business in the building that he wants to do.
Okay, so even if we voted it down, he would still own the property as
Yes.
R6 property
Correct,
and wouldn't be able to do what he wants to do.
correct.
Okay.
But the adjacent properties, can you describe the adjacent property?
There is basically there's a parking lot to the south that is serving the other activities in the area. There's residential further to the east. And then the B3 zoning and the commercial zoning goes further north, so that we're adding on to that commercial zoning so that it is consistent going northward. So that's roughly what the zoning pattern is in the area.
My question's a little further off base than that. When he came last week and we talked about it briefly, I kind of was hoping he would say he was going to build apartments above it or some more residential. And I know we're not at that stage in the conversation yet, but if someone could nudge him in that direction, or at least have that conversation.
Certainly, I mean, a mix of uses certainly would be interesting, and we do hope to see that happen, at least in certain areas. I believe the current plan for his business operation is to, do the restaurant part
On
of
the
it.
first, and
Yeah.
the bakery on the second. I think that's what he said. Thank you.
No, overall, I think it's a great use of a site, especially there along 27th Street. And having this and someone willing to go in and start a business and such is exactly what we want along North 27th Street.
Agreed.
I appreciate the parking and off the alley. I think it's a nice design to tuck some of that parking behind, so it's not just a parking lot on 27th Street. I think it's going to be good for the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Any other questions or discussion? I think we can vote on this then.
Christensen,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0. Resolutions on first reading are items 7A through I. Our ordinances on first reading are items 8A through I. Anyone wishing to address the council on a matter not on this agenda and not planned to appear on a future agenda may do so at this time, since it is an open microphone session.
Hello, my name is Robert Way. I live at 801 Elevado Avenue, Lincoln, Nebraska. I appreciate the council's time. I will be relatively brief. I was just coming forward to talk about, in recent weeks I've been made aware of an unacceptable incident of traffic incident involving children in this city. Compiling both information from the county health department, which said between 2010 and 2014, 14 children have died on or near Lincoln roads, and information gathered by a citizen who was featured in the Lincoln Journal-Star, who was hit by a car and then decided to compile information based on public records, that 31% of people hit on bikes are children since 2012. And since 2012, 281 children have been injured by cars while on their bike. I would like to have risen with a brilliant solution, but I do not have one. What I do have is some excellent suggestions from conversations I've had. One suggestion was that perhaps we should revisit mandatory driver's ed in public schools. I know public schools is not the form of this body, but if it were to improve the health of the city, perhaps the city could find some way to help with the budget of that program. The other thing that the city has been effectively done in leadership is they've been able to form partnerships with private corporations, and there might be private corporations that would see the value in joining with the community in a partnership to help address this problem. I do not believe that there's any one particular. I believe this is the incidence of everyone in the city government doing their absolute best under current law to keep these injuries and fatalities as low as possible. But as we have not achieved zero, and as more and more people are beginning to move from the idea of motor vehicle accidents to motor vehicle incidents, that almost all motor times when you have an injury on the road, there was, if you look at the situation, a way to prevent that. Another suggestion, which has been suggested to me, and I thought I should share with the group, is moving texting while driving from a secondary to a primary offense. Though other people who have better knowledge of the law said that could not be done because that was a state matter and the city couldn't override it. So that might be a non-starter. I will continue to have conversations about this. I'm getting more information, and I will report back. And if any of you have any thoughts, I hope you will share.
Thank you very much for coming down. Is there anyone else in the chamber that would like to speak? Please come forward.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, whoops. Welcome, Liz.
I was never very tech savvy. Anyway, my name's Liz Shea McCoy, and I guess I'm best known in Lincoln for doing public art projects and leading our city to take art forward to everyone in our community. And I started working with the Lincoln Arts Council back in 2000 on the Tour de Lincoln, the bike project. And at that time, I was the bike lady, and then I was the star lady, and the light bulb lady, and the heart lady. And now I'm the hand lady. I'm helping Matt Schulte and the Campus Life Youth for Christ in the Serving Hands Public Art Project. We have 39 hands sculptures around Lincoln, and 12 small-scale sculptures, which are right outside in the hallway for the community to enjoy until the October 25th auction. So I am just coming forward because of the recent controversy that one of the sculptures on city property has brought forward. And it was calling the Spider-Man sculpture down by the Children's Zoo devil's horns or devil worship. And it's quite ironic since Campus Life is all about, it's a faith-based organization. So it seems silly in a way, and it's brought forward lots of interesting conversation, which art does. But on the other hand, recently we've heard from another group of individuals that are organizing and come forward about the same issue. So it's gone from a little bit of, oh, this is so silly, to a little bit more serious. And I'm here, along with Matt Schulte, to speak to this issue, if it should come forward tonight, to the members of the City Council. So I don't know if you have any questions at this point for me, but I think, would you like to? I think that's it for now, but we're in the audience should anything come forward and should you need any questions answered by us. Thank you. Yes.
I have a question. What is the process for selecting which themes become part of the hands? So hands were selected this year.
Correct.
And so how do artists, do they need to get approval for what they do with the hands?
The way this works is once the organization, this is an organizational driven project. So once the organization decides on the concept, which in this case were the hands, then I put out a call to Nebraska artists across the state. Artists can submit 1 to 5 proposals, and then we have a jury in place. 2 individuals, usually related to the art community in some way in Lincoln, that are given a list of criteria, originality, aesthetics, and appropriateness for community display. That is always first and foremost, because this is a city project and we want everything to be appropriate. So the jurors make the decision which should be juried out
one
And
way in
then
it.
the sponsors ultimately pick the sculptures that they pay $5,000 to get a sculpture actually made.
Okay.
So that's how that works.
Thank you for explaining that.
You're welcome.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Ms. McCoy. I forgot to push the button. There, better. I wasn't able to keep up. Bikes first, then star, then light bulb, and now hands. Did I miss
Hearts.
one?
There's one in between.
Hearts, yes. Where was the hearts?
The Hearts, Nebraska by Heart, was the celebration of our sesquicentennial.
It would have been
Nebraska's.
2 years ago. It had been before the light bulbs, but after the stars?
After the light bulb.
After the light bulbs. Thank you, sorry.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for coming down.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your work.
Denise Arnold, and thank you for that introduction. By the way, I guess they knew I would be here. They must have looked up comments, because there's tons of them. Many people yelling at people about this artwork and putting people down based on their beliefs and what it actually looks like. Because, I mean, come on. There's Spider-Man's a bigger, Superman is a bigger icon. How about for women? Wonder Woman. Why'd they pick Spider-Man? I'm going to show you. Is this on?
Once you place it on there, it comes on.
Okay, great. So, in which direction for you to see it?
Face
Up
up.
Face up.
like this?
No, face
Other
up.
way. Face up. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Nope.
Picture up.
No,
Picture up.
There you go.
Now we can see.
It's weird because it was white here. I should have figured that out. Okay, so there are all these symbols and signs that people constantly do. Now you have to watch out. Now, as she explained, that none of you or the city got to decide on the final project. So I'm just going to go through a few things and educate you what people communicate through symbols, okay? Oh yes, 5 minutes, of course. I get reminded. So over here you have the symbol, the pyramid, okay? Something we have downtown, right? Over here, the one-eye symbolism. Again, one-eye symbolism. Next. Are all these stars and even politicians?
You have to put the drawing face up.
Oh, again.
Yep. There you go.
So are all these politicians and musicians and actors, just like to cover one eye? Think about it. Here's a larger picture of a few people. I think you recognize.
There you go.
It's a little larger, okay? You recognize some of these people, yes?
No.
All right.
Lady Gaga, all these musicians are over here, okay? But also politicians do it as well. Okay, this is a new program coming out to the children back to school, right? So let's take a look here. We have the pyramid. You think she's saying, I love you, sticking her tongue out? I don't think so. We got the pyramid again, and we have the one-eye symbolism. I'm getting into it. So here we have these other people showing, what are they paying homage to? So I want you to think about how things could look and what other people represent them to be. What are they paying homage to? Now over here, what is this, the Baphomet? That's been going to many cities, right? Lots of controversy there. Well, look at it. Of course, you have the children here. But if I drew some colorful things on it and I call it art, is it art? Or do you still see what it is? And here we are. Of course, the Spidey hands weren't put on until afterwards. I'm telling you, there's a reason for that. Then it was finally added. Tell me what you see, though. Here is a devout Satanist, and he'll tell you about the hand signs, that they mean hail, you know who, okay? And also, when you have the thumb out, that's a pox on you. People know what this is. This is nice and pretty and colorful, right? Well, it's on 48th Street in Baldwin, right? It's the upside-down pentagram. They know what it is. It's not by accident that this stuff happens everywhere. I'd like to kind of stop more of this happening here. Now, this obviously was here before I moved here. But what is the obsession with the pyramids? They know.
1 minute.
So basically, in closing, is you have to be careful. You have to approve things after it's done, because other people are going to look at it who know what the symbolism is and what it means. And I'm telling you, there's a reason they picked Spider-Man. And I even spoke with Schultz, and he says, well, there's nothing that the city council could do about it. But I wanted to let you know anyway, educate you a little bit. It's a scary world out there, but we want to put more of these symbols out there. We don't want to mock Lincoln. We want Lincoln strong, okay? And that's basically what I wanted to say.
Thank
Be
you, Ms.
careful.
Arnold. Thank you very much for coming. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak?
Just for the record, I would say that I'm not sure that we got name and address, so I don't know if we
It's
have the
Denise
record.
Arnold.
Okay.
Ms. Arnold.
I didn't get that.
She wrote it down.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Matt Schulte, 8501 Pine Hill Lane. I'm the Executive Director of Youth for Christ Campus Life, purveyor of 6-foot-tall art pieces, and evidently protector of Spider-Man. About 14 months ago, we dared to dream at Campus Life what it would look like to celebrate a pretty epic anniversary that we were surpassing, 50 years of service to teens here in Lincoln. That goes back to 1969. That's when a new car cost $2,000. Minimum wage was $1.62. We were landing on the moon, first year of Woodstock. So needless to say, a pretty amazing thing to celebrate. And so since that time, Campus Life has had volunteers coming alongside hurting students all across the city, whether they're in jail, whether they're in the delivery room, or just an average everyday student walking down the hallways of a local middle school. As we reflected back over our history and looked forward to the next 50 years of Campus Life, we saw over and over again the hearts of service that many of the volunteers and staff have had in our community. So we selected Serving Hands as our symbol to celebrate 50 years of service. We also see Serving Hands as a great celebration of all the serving hearts that happen across the community, not just at Campus Life, but every day in pregnancy centers, in hospitals, in all sorts of different places. Matter of fact, I think Stan Lee said it well when he said, that person who helps others simply because it should be or must be done, and because it is the right thing to do, is without a doubt a real superhero. So last year we embarked on this journey. We selected projects carefully and responsively because we know that with great power comes great responsibility. That's right, you know it. So when a playful piece of art the kids come across our community have absolutely loved, we've gotten more photos of the one holding a folded flag by the VA, but the second most has absolutely come in from this sculpture of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Landed in the middle of controversy, as I'm sure you were, we were surprised. I never expected to be interviewed by CNN, Fox, New York Post, Omaha World Herald, Channel 3. It was quite the ride, and it was all for their online journals. It was never live, but nonetheless, way more publicity than we anticipated. The article also went viral on Dredge Report. I got small town news pages in Washington State, Inside Edition, comic book fan sites, etc. Just about the only thing that we lacked was a late night stand-up comedy joke. I'm still hoping for that, Jimmy Fallon. We have since heard from the original complainant retracting her comments. She said that she wanted to assure us and the mayor's office and you guys as the city that there are no current concerns about the statue, what it depicts, or where it is located. She continued to say that the statue is where it should be, and I wish the best for the arts program, and I hope that the publicity the story has generated leads to more dollars raised. I want to thank the city, the mayor's office, specifically Lynn Kenzar, the Parks Department for letting us display through these projects on city land. We're anxiously looking forward to our auction on October 25th right over here at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And I would just finish by saying it's so typical of a superhero to suffer from mistaken identity like this, isn't it? Thank you so much. I'd be gladly take any questions if anybody had any.
Well, thank you, Matt, for coming down.
No problem. I'll just say I included there a map of all the sculptures, and So feel free to go tour around and check them out. Just drove past the one at Russ's IGA at 33rd and Highway 2, and it's just beautiful. The detail that the artist put into that one is really nice. And then I also included a little something about a fundraiser we've got next week. So buy your Colorado peaches. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the chamber that would like an opportunity for an open mic? I'm sorry.
I just want
Ms.
to
Arnold. Thank you.
because I was messing up.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak at open mic? Is there anyone else that would like to speak at open mic?
I move adjournment.
I second his motion. Sorry,
Moved by
folks.
Christensen, seconded by Schob. Please call the roll.
Christensen?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Raybold?
Yes.
Schob?
Yes.
Ward?
Yes.
Washington?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes, can I make one quick comment? My beautiful mother joined us today, and I wanted to point her out, so. She's been watching it on YouTube, and I just wanted to point her out.
Thank
you for indulging me
coming.
on that.
Thank you for joining us.
Wave.
Teresa, did you?
Teresa?
Yep, motion carried, 7-0.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Mrs. Bowers, for coming too.
Teresa?